that's spiritual gifts. And to me, that's what most reminds me of being made in the image of God, when he says he speaks things into being, and we say things and stuff happens. And that is a beautiful and powerful thing, which I feel like connects us to the Lord. And, sometimes maybe we do that and we get big headed. Like I remember one time, this was down in Canyon City, and a guy we both know named Michael Wright, electric guitar player on the worship team. He had torn up his knees playing high school sports, and he was an old man now. He was like in his upper 30s, really old.
Watch it now because he's younger than you.
Yeah, like by half. But I remember looking at him, and it occurred to me that God was healing his knees, because I felt like a weird tingling on my knees, and I knew that he had bad knees. And I said, Mike, I think God's healing your knees. And at that moment, he got a funny look on his face, and he said, I think you're right. And so,
and what would you categorize that gift?
Well, obviously it's healing, because his knees got healed, and I talked to him 10 years later, and they're still healed. I would say maybe a word of knowledge. God is doing this to you. That's information that I couldn't have made up, I don't think. And then faith. It's the gift of faith was there, maybe for both of us. Yeah. But honestly, I've had, like, that's one of my favorite stories, because I feel like a superhero, when I'm talking about that. And then there's all the other times that you're like, doesn't matter what I say, what I think, what I feel, how much I believe, it's not happening. And so it's just a bit of a mystery, but we know we don't own it. We're not the healing factory cranking out healings like Henry Ford cranking out Model Ts, in the Ford factory. So it's a humbling thing. But if we don't pray, people generally don't get healed. God can bypass us, but he generally works through us, which is crazy that God entrusts us. And when the gifts of the Spirit move through our mouths, in this case, then Jesus is glorified. You could say that all exercise of spiritual gifts is a form of evangelism, because I guarantee you, my buddy Mike Wright told somebody about what happened to his knees, and that's evangelism.
Yeah. So why don't you leave us with an encouragement about spiritual gifts?
Yeah. I would say that don't think that spiritual gifts is just for the super Christians, because most super Christians are just full of themselves Christians. Spiritual gifts are for the humble who are willing to take risks. John Wimber is the one that said you spell faith RISK. And a lot of times people that move in gifts are just people that are crazy enough to take risks. And so my encouragement is just go for it. Don't limit yourself to one or two gifts. I think that's just a bad teaching by well-intentioned people. Go for it. And there are times that you may want to try a gift that you would never do. The ultimate expression of healing is the raising of the dead. And you have to be a little bit nuts to try that one, or desperate. But I say go for it. Go for it in a way that honors people. Smith Wigglesworth is famous for taking dead people and picking them up off the ground and slamming them against a wall. One person in particular came back to life. And so I don't recommend that. We don't become jerks just because we're feeling it. But why not try? Well, why not be willing to miss a few notes in front of your listeners?
Right. How are you going to increase your batting average if you don't bat?
Yeah.
If you don't stand up and be present and realize again that it is the Holy Spirit's job to do the thing. It isn't our job. It's just our job to be there and to allow the Holy Spirit to use us.
Are you ready, Boots? Start walking.